The image of an iceberg represents every layer of a certain topic, in this case, Fox and Duck. At the top are well-known and relatively fun facts, but the deeper we go, the more dark and mysterious the material becomes. Thank you for joining me today as I go over the Fox and Duck Iceberg. This should be a lot like the Silent Swordsman iceberg that I made since I made Fox and Duck, and I guarantee you there's a lot of interesting stuff even in the upper levels in this one, and you're definitely going to want to check this video out if you like my channel or Fox and Duck or just icebergs in general, as it's a pretty cool topic. Alright, with that out of the way, let's begin. Original music. My brother Jonathan did the music for this, so all props to him, he did a spectacular job. Murder Lemur. Murder Lemur is kind of the main antagonist of episode 1 and is a murderous demon that Duck summons from the dark web who attacks Fox and Duck. Fox and Duck's parents. We know from this conversation early on in the first episode that Duck's dad is a priest, his mom makes children's books for babies, and Fox has a stepdad. Machos Nachos. This was just a little fun gag I threw in. I thought it was pretty funny to have a real-life luchador. Creepy Bridge. For some reason, this bridge just looks really creepy to me, and that's really all there is to this. Let's move on. YouTube Kids version. As you can see on screen, there's the regular version of episode 1 and then a YouTube Kids version, which is literally just the same thing with a different thumbnail and for YouTube Kids. Buy Gold reference. This billboard references Bill Cipher's quotable line from Gravity Falls, "Buy gold," which he says a few times throughout the show. Fox and Duck Rule 34. This is Duck's worst fear, and hopefully this does not exist anywhere on the internet. 420 reference. As you can see on screen, in the background, a clock shows the time 4:20, and I was inspired to do this by a similar gag in regular show. License plate messages. The Silent Swordsman, Iceberg, Dog with a Hoodie, and Fox and Duck can all be seen in some variety on these license plates in the background of that one scene where Duck is going to do the street fight. 14,893 frames. That's how many frames are in episode 1, and yeah, you can see why it took me several months. Bashful Bunny in Furry's rant video. Bashful Bunny can be seen here in the dark web when Duck's trying to find Murder Lemur, but she was first shown in the Furry's rant video I made before episode 1 of Fox and Duck. Fox and Duck sneak peeks. There were 2 different sneak peeks for episode 1 that came out a few months before the actual episode came out, and they can both be seen on my channel. Penguins of Madagascar and Donkey reference. The Penguins of Madagascar are referenced on the left sign, and Donkey from Shrek is referenced on the right sign of that one scene of the zoo where the Murder Lemur massacre takes place. Fox and Duck early designs. What you're seeing on screen is some of the early concept art for Fox and Duck. As you can see, Fox had a different color and many different variations, but Duck's design has pretty much always been the same. Hidden Rhino. In the background of that street fight scene, there is this jacked rhino guy, but he's blocked by the big gorilla, so you can't actually see him in the actual episode. The Murder Lemur Massacre. The Murder Lemur Massacre is so low on here because of how dark it is. Legend goes that Murder Lemur apparently killed 10 people at the zoo and was executed. Fox and Duck unlisted sneak peek. As you can see, the very first sneak peek of Fox and Duck was actually unlisted on my channel and could only be viewed if you solved the code in one of my descriptions and then I sent you the link. The colors get darker. Progressively as the day goes on in the episode, the colors get darker, as you can see with a shot at the beginning of the episode and a shot at the end as they gradually get darker. Episode 1 script, first draft. You can pause the video if you want to read this. It's pretty much the script that we have currently for the first episode with some minor changes, most notably being that Beavis wasn't a character and that conversation with Beavis and Duck didn't happen. Who made the Murder Lemur article? I don't really have an answer for this. I just put it on here because it's actually a good question and probably has a creepy answer. Beavis alternate design. On the right side of the screen you can see Beavis's alternate design, but I ultimately was encouraged by my brother to go with his original design, which is on the left. Five Nights at Scruffy's. Believe it or not, the game Duck plays in the episode actually was a game that me and a few of my friends in middle school came up with and based off of Five Nights at Freddy's, and actually drew concept art for. That's what you're seeing on screen. There was originally going to be 6 of those games, and if you want to know more about that, then you can talk to me in the comments. Duck with no eyes. This is an animation error that occurs for one frame in 2 different parts of Duck's conversation with Beavis and was not done intentionally. Fox's girlfriend. This is Vanilla. She never made an appearance in episode 1. She might have made one in the second episode if I made one. So yeah, if you want to see her show up, then you guys gotta show episode 1 some love and support. Extremely early Fox designs. As you can see, these are some of my first designs for Fox. He looked a lot different and had a lot more exaggerated features to him. Beavis's dark web experience. Beavis hints at being very familiar with the dark web to Duck, which leads us to question what kind of activities has Beavis been doing on the dark web. Original episode 1 plot. Okay, so originally episode 1 was going to be about Fox and Duck being hired out to clean this magician guy's house, but then they suspect that he's a murderer to find out that he's really not. And this magician elephant would have been the comic relief role, but we scrapped the idea pretty early on. I think I still have the script for it, an early version of it. So if you want to see that, then let me know in the comments. And yeah, let me know, do you think that episode idea would have been more interesting than the one that we ended up going with? Let me know in the comments. Schmeg's List. This is a parody of Craigslist and would have been the site Fox used to help Duck get the job in that episode 1 plot I just described to you guys. Fox and Duck storyboard. As you can see, this is one of the earliest pieces of Fox and Duck media, at least for episode 1. That was after I'd gotten past the concept and we had started moving on to the episode itself. There's some minor changes and yeah, it looks pretty cool now. Go for a Punch reference. Go for a Punch is a supposedly lost anime about 9 naked girls in a bathroom that has no exits, as they discuss their hopeless situation and eventually end up killing themselves on screen in graphic ways. The episode apparently was found on the dark web and since has not been confirmed to exist. Hanging man in the background. In Duck's TV show, for one frame in the very back, you can see a man hanging from a tree. Fox and Bear. This was the earliest version of Fox and Duck and was drastically different than what ended up coming out. As you can see, there's a bear instead of a duck, and the series itself might have been slightly more mature than the Fox and Duck that ended up coming to pass. Secret code. In the description of the Gravity Falls Iceberg, the very first code I put in my descriptions, if you solved it, it would spell out Fox and Duck, which was a reference to Fox and Duck episode 1, which came out a whole 4 months later. Satan runs the dark web. This is kind of hinted at with the magnifying glass with devil horns, but honestly, I don't know if I should make this canon or not. It seems like it would be kind of funny. Episode 2. There will not be a second episode of Fox and Duck unless the first episode reaches 5,000 views, 1,000 likes, and 500 comments. So if you watched Fox and Duck and you want to see a second episode, please share it with your friends. And that was the Fox and Duck Iceberg. There was surprisingly some dark themes and topics on there, but overall it was pretty fun to make the video and share all this information with you guys. If you have any more questions about the series or how it was created or its concept, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. It's actually a really interesting process. It was kind of a toned down version of an official show, I would say. The whole process behind making an animated series, designing the characters, the backgrounds, the animation style, all of that, the scripts, the music. So if you guys want to know more about that kind of process, even though it's on a smaller scale, then don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Have a great day.